Hey guys, it's me, Amber, Blue Collar Bunny. I'm back once again. I know it's been a while. I'm sorry. I went on a little hiatus. Life got in the way and I had to kind of take a little bit of a break from the car and from YouTube. I am back and I'm better than ever and things are getting rolling on this car project. So first things first, let's kind of start from the beginning. Initially, I bought this car beginning of last summer. Plan was to just fix the only thing that we knew was wrong with the engine to try and get it running as fast as possible so that I could drive it around and enjoy it during the summer. And then I was really just going to focus on fixing the interior and I wasn't really going to do too much to the engine or suspension or anything like that. We ended up not actually getting it running at all during the summer. Procrastination's a bitch. I don't know what else to say. The only things that I really worked on with that car was I did a little bit of welding inside, fixing the holes in the floor.
Flashback.
Today, we're actually doing some real work on this car, not just cleaning it. Today, we're gonna repair a hole in the floor. I don't really know what I'm gonna do here. I mean, I have an idea, but I've never done this before. I used to be a welder, so the welding aspect of it, I'm gonna be just fine on, but the whole figuring out how much to cut out and building a new panel and stuff is gonna be definitely a learning curve. There's actually really not that much rust up here other than just in the crack itself, but because it obviously took some damage to the underside here, this pinch weld is what got crushed. So I'm gonna work on it and straighten out this pinch weld back to kind of the way it should be. Yeah, so this is what we're working with. A big rusty crack. So it spans from here all the way to there in the corner. And unfortunately, it's actually bad enough that you can see through to the ground in a few places. It's honestly worse than the side over there. Obviously, they had noticed this problem and they welded in some sort of piece here. But all that was here was seam sealer, which I just grinded out. So obviously this has been here for a while. Okay guys, I dug in a little deeper in that crack there. That's crazy. That's a crazy way to word that. What I meant to say is that I took the wire wheel to that rust spot that I found earlier to kind of see how far it goes, and unfortunately it's pretty bad. It's worse than the patch in the front here. It's kind of in a tight spot. I don't really know if I want to spend the time cutting it out and properly patching it, or if I want to just weld in a piece of angle and cover it up. I don't really know what the best course of action would be here. Now this fits pretty good. Fits up nice in this corner, and there's obviously a gap here, but this piece of metal is not flat. I'm doing the best I can do. This is the fit up that we're working with. It's not too bad, but there is still some little bits of gaps. But the question is really how perfect does this need to be? Obviously you want it to be as close as possible because it's hard to weld in gaps on sheet metal because it's so thin that you can burn through super easily. But at the same time, I don't know really how much time I want to spend on this. Honestly, I looked at it again this morning. It's not that bad. It's definitely probably some of the worst welding I've done, but honestly, through no fault of my own. There's no porosity, there's no undercut, there's nothing like that. It's just that it's really thin metal. I'm welding as cold as I could possibly weld. It's just one of those scenarios where it's tricky. It kind of sucks. Yeah, and the only way to weld it is just tack after tack after tack and try not to put too much heat into it, and it just makes for pretty fucking ugly welds. I think I'm realizing now why maybe the person who tried to repair
repair this before me didn't really do the world's greatest job. And it's probably just because it's really hard to do a good job of this. And once again, it's getting covered by carpet. It's on the floor. So I don't really care about making it look pretty. I just want it to work.
End of flashback.
We also pulled the head, machined it, and new head gasket, all of that. Since then, the head's been taken off again, so we've kind of undone that work. But I'm still gonna show you guys all that footage, so let's jump to that. Hey guys, it is me back. It is day 2 of pulling the head. There's only a few more things that I have to detach from the head itself to be able to pull it. I just pulled off the little mounting bracket that mounts the alternator to the head. I just have a few more bolts to take off, and then that should be it. I'll be able to take the valve cover off, and then the head. So far, it's going well, and I'm proud of myself. Anyways, let's keep going. Holy heck, how is this one the easy one? All right. Yippee! Intake manifold is off, finally. I did break the bracket that bolts it to the exhaust though, so.
Well, that looks like erosion from coolant passing through into the combustion chamber, and maybe combustion gases flowing past the fire ring into the coolant. Well, that's the only spot I found. Blake noticed something. Out of all these cylinders, this one was the only one I could clean up with a rag. What often happens when coolant is getting into a cylinder is you'll get a clean area. It's like essentially pressure washing the inside of the engine with hot steam.
I got the head out. Pretty proud of myself. Does need to be machined. We pulled the head, inspected it, and we found out what was wrong with it. Zeke can do like machining work at his work. He's gonna machine this for me. I need to take off the exhaust, the camshaft, this gear, which is a part of the cam, and some other bits and bobs that are still attached to it. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna try and tackle the exhaust and try to get this off first, and then I'll move on to the cam. Whoever worked on this before lost that bolt and the one underneath as well. And instead of, I don't know, getting new ones and replacing it, they quite literally just like, I don't know if this is silicone or what, but they just gooped it on. It doesn't take a mechanic to know that that's probably not right. Alright guys, I am back. It's been so long since I've done anything on the car that my hair has magically grown 20 inches. I definitely did not pay $600 for extensions. This is all real hair, natural, and it's just grown. That's how long it's been since I've worked on the car. Today is the day we might get her running. Today we are putting the cylinder head back together. So we're also gonna change the exhaust system on it. This lighting's really good, so I'm just gonna casually flex on y'all, cause like, look at that. Look at that. It's jacked. What? Who would have known? Who would have known I was fucking jacked? All I did over the summer was fix the head, attempt to fix the floor. And then life got in the way and I moved my car to my dad's shop. My dad is not a mechanic by trade, but he has a shop for his race cars and he works on cars all the time. He has every tool you could ever need to work on a car, so it's been really helpful. My dad's extremely knowledgeable in like pretty well all trades, so he's been a huge help. So a lot has actually happened over the last few weeks. The plan has changed a lot. So let's get into that. Since I moved the car to my dad's shop, he actually pulled the engine, decided to kind of look at every single component. I don't really know why I didn't do that in the first place. The car is 40 years old and it's the original engine. So it's a 40-year-old engine that had a coolant leak. You can't really assume that the only thing wrong with it was the head gasket. We pulled the engine, took the entire thing apart, took off every single component, checked every seal, checked everything. Not everything on the engine was broken, but the one nice thing about working on these old Volkswagens Volkswagens is that the parts are relatively cheap. Kind of decided to just replace everything because a lot of it was worn, and if it hadn't failed yet, it wouldn't be long before it failed anyways. We're pretty well doing an entire engine rebuild, and since we pulled the engine out of the engine bay, we're gonna paint the inside of the engine bay. I have removed all of the electrical, pulled the entire wiring harness out, pulled everything out of the engine bay, pressure washed it, pressure washed the engine itself and a bunch of parts. We're sending some things to the sandblasters, and some things are getting powder coated as well. Right now, we're kind of in the position of we just need to finish prepping the engine bay for paint. It's November 14th, by the way, to give some timeline here. The engine bay is pretty dirty. Pretty gnarly. My dad decided that we should pull the engine, take everything out of the engine bay, clean it, and repaint it. We are going to clean this thing up a lot more than I initially planned on doing. We're just gonna pretend like the work that's been done on it didn't happen. We're starting back at square one. Basically, every single seal or gasket on this thing is leaking. Gonna do the front and rear main seals, gonna do a bunch of stuff to the trans. Basically gonna rebuild the whole thing. Alright guys, excuse the audio because I can only assume how fucking loud that pressure washer is. We cleaned out the engine bay, pressure washed it. I am gonna be honest, this back spot here, I thought that it was painted pink and that it was just really dirty. Turns out it was never painted. It was actually silver the whole time, and you just couldn't tell because of how dirty it was. Today, we are working on the engine bay of the car because it is this close to being ready to paint. All right, guys, so the process that I've been doing, basically take Scotch spray, also have wire brush, and I just take my brake clean, spray the area that I'm working on, scrub the living shit out of it, hit it with the Scotch spray, and just get everything as clean as I possibly can. It is November 17th. I spent probably 5 hours on Saturday and 4 hours on Sunday prepping the engine bay for paint. Today, fingers crossed, we should be able to spray the primer.
Hey, hey, yeah, hey. Go through the phase to get where we pray. We champion made, ain't nothing I changed. The streets that we paved, they throwing parades. Hey, nobody can hate on the road that I played. When everything's settled, let's see who remains. From dusk till dawn, from night till day. Hey, checking the game, was never afraid. Just calling my name, they fall into place. The land of elite, the home of the brave. Hey, nobody can hate on the toll that I paid. When everything's settled, let's see who remains. From dusk till dawn, from night till day. Against the world, okay, gotta go against the grain. In the mud from a place that wasn't sterile. Get it done like it ain't no thing. Okay, I'm a flamethrower bang. Feel I got me a championship ring. Pop bottles, bang yo gang. Rep your set, take that to the bank. Yeah, I've been keeping it frank. King of New York, fuck is they talking about? I done came up in the ranks. Number 11, I show up and show out. My heart is the size of the tank, not the size of the body. I body whoever, just think of Goliath and Dave. The bigger they are, the deeper the hole that I gotta fill in the grave. Okay, from the mezzanine to the penthouse. I was 17 on the bench now. All my idols then is getting sent down. Okay, and my enemies is all hellbound to get meltdown. Guess it's all starting to make sense now. Lil Nicky shit when that stimmy hit. I was running sessions like a guinea pig. Put sauce in it like the guineas did. Just like my father, I'm Vinny's kid. I'm really him. This really shit that we talked about as little city kids. We really did everything we said we would. Blowing up like Killian, yeah. Hey, go through the phase to get where we prayed. We champion made, ain't nothing I changed. The streets that we paved, they throwing parades. Hey, nobody can hate on the road that I played. When everything's settled, let's see who remains. From dusk till dawn, from night till day. Hey, checking the game, was never afraid. Just calling my name, they fall into place. The land of elite, the home of the brave. Hey, nobody can hate on.
I didn't mean what I told you, but you took it to heart. Wish I could take it back to get a new start. I apologize at least 100 times. You never heard my perspective or took my advice. But I put all the problems in a pot, then I stirred. I said what I said, what I did was a blur. And it's just a bad habit, maybe it's just a
Alright Alright guys, that is the bulk of the painting done. Engine bay is all pretty in pink, and I just finished painting the wheel wells. So yeah, that is pretty well all of the painting. There's a few more things that need to be painted. For example, the floor needs to be painted still, but I can't do that until we're done welding on the floor. I also am going to paint some parts. This is one of the control arms. I got all the suspension bits and pieces in. Obviously it comes pre-painted, as you can see, but the paint job is not great. Like there's random bits of green on it, and like there's already like a rust spot showing through. I can imagine this is going to chip very quickly, so I'm gonna scuff it up, prep it, and I'm gonna hit it with the same paint that I just used on the wheel wells. My dad also sent in some parts to the powder coaters. Some parts have been powder coated black and some things have been powder coated pink. So that's really exciting. The head, when we did it, again, hindsight, I don't know why we didn't do this. When we had it off, we should have done a valve job, but we didn't. We did test for compression and everything and it was fine. Now, since we have the entire engine out and taken apart, we are going to do a valve job. We are also going to replace the cam with a Scirocco cam just to get more power. Bottom end of the engine, this is kind of a big deal. Should have done this initially. At least we didn't try to get it running before taking the bottom end off, because when we pulled the oil pan out, it was actually full of literal sludge, which makes sense because it had a coolant leak, and when coolant mixes with oil, it gets nasty. It was literally like the consistency of caramel. So that's bad.
Caked with gunk. So if you don't clean that out, you're just going to keep mixing that into the oil. It'll take quite a bit, or it'll cause the engine to fail. Bearings will go.
We also kind of just did a whole inspection of the bottom end of the engine. The cylinders themselves were pretty rusty and corroded. 2 or 3 of the 4 pistons were like super gunked up and nasty. It was really hard to turn the engine over by hand. We also checked all the bearings. Most of them were like totally worn through. Some of them were worn through all the way down to the copper. We got all new bearings, new pistons, basically new everything. Right now, the bottom end of the engine is at a shop. Since the cylinders need to be bored out and cleaned, we just decided to send it to a shop to do that because it's easier. So hopefully in a week or 2, we'll get that back. Check this shit out. We got the block back and we got the head back. And we got some shit back from the powder coaters. So let me show you that because they look nice. Ooh, baby. Oil pan. Looking good, looking good. And we got a few parts powder coated pink, baby. Also got this and a couple others, but you know, you get the point. Everything looks pretty nice. A lot nicer than it looked when we took it out, I'll tell you that much.
Now friendships on, do not disturb. I'll put fuel on the fire, burn the bridge to the ground. You're no longer required. I don't want to see you around. I tried to fix what was broken, but you made up your mind.
We actually got different pistons. So the pistons that we ordered have a shallower dish in them, so that's for better compression. We also measured the head, and when we machined it, we didn't measure it when we machined it because we forgot. So we measured it recently and we got lucky. We machined it almost fully to the like absolute minimum acceptable thickness. So that increases compression. So by the time we're done with this, we'll probably have like a 10-to-1 compression ratio, which is super sweet. We also pulled out the entire suspension. Obviously, I'm keeping the coilovers that came with the car because they're new and there's nothing wrong with them. This is a big thing, pulled out the entire wiring harness. It was a shit show. It was a rat's nest. It looked terrible. Most of the wire was like not protected correctly. There were splices that shouldn't have existed. So I literally pulled the entire thing out, cut all the wires, cut all the connectors off. It is unusable now.
Gave you all my reasons, then you pushed them aside. Guess it wasn't enough. When it rains, it floods. Left me drowning here neck deep, dragged me through the mud. You act like I stabbed a knife in you. I cut so deep, I went all the way through.
The dash was initially a Mark II dash. It was held in there with literally only zip ties and one screw. I want my car to be as Mark I original as possible. There's been some edits to the car that I can't undo, like side marker lights being taken out and stuff, and that's totally fine, but I don't want a Mark II dash in my Mark I car. So yeah, really not much has been done on the interior other than stripping it out. So yeah, that is where I'm at right now. The car is at my dad's. It's completely stripped, sitting on jack stands right now. I don't really have a lot of footage of me taking things apart because personally I think it's probably a little bit more interesting for you guys to watch me rebuild it. You definitely will get a lot more videos once we get to the rebuild process. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, advice, comment down below. That's all for now. I'll catch you guys in the next one.